How's it going, guys? Kevin here. I just got my full spectrum laser Muse hobby laser. You can see the boxes here. This is for the Muse riser, and this is the actual Muse laser. Alright, so the first thing here, it looks like we've got the focus lens kit. This is the 5-inch kit. You can see you got the air assist nozzle in the lens, and it looks like a billet focus wheel, or focus little block there. Take this out, set this aside. Open this guy up. I think this is our honeycomb. That is what this appears to be. There's foam on the back side, which is nice. And this just slides out the side. So we've got our honeycomb for the bed. Looks a little warped here, but that just could be, it's a little weak, so no worries there. That looks good. And then this is just some quick start guide, it looks like. We got some additional foam here. So our quick start guide for first time setup. Super useful. I already had this on my computer, but good to have it ready already in paper form. Here's the packing list, which is nice. So here's everything, so I can go through and make sure that I've got everything. Let's see. Included hex key. So yeah, the other additional things I've got is 5-inch focus lens and the rotary and riser. And they even give you instructions on how to replace the lens there. That is very nice. Alright, I'm going to keep that packing list to the side there so I can reference it. Set this guy up here for now. We'll get the riser out later, and we'll keep moving forward. Looks like this is where they can fit additional blocks for lenses. That one actually goes down the whole side, so I'll set you guys down and pull this guy out. So there we have it. There's the Muse. I also have in here, looks like they have a sample here from J++, which is very nice. I've already ordered some things from them. Got a lot of material ready already. And that's the lovely quality check that I've been waiting for them to complete for so long. So I could finally get this thing. And here we have it. Gonna take this thing out, set it down, and then transfer it over to the location on the other side of my basement. Just took the top off of the riser. There's a piece of foam that I took off. There's some new features, which is the pass-through shelf, which is awesome. And there's also a tray shelf now for the newer versions of the riser that I saw that they made some upgrades on, so that way you can have your honeycomb in while you still have your riser in, and that way you don't have to worry about constantly taking it on and off the riser or printing your own custom clips. So set this down. I'm guessing that this is the rotary in here, and then this is the riser. You can see the pass-throughs on the front of it. So I'm going to pop this out because I want to set this down on the table first before I set the machine on top of it. So I peeled the plastic off the top, and I was wondering why this was so heavy. It's because I've got my fan in there, my air compressor, and my water pump, even though I've got a CW3000 cooler. So I'm going to pull this guy out, slowly bring the machine out, then I have to transfer the bottom of this guy over to the riser, so that way I can have the floor in the riser, and then move everything over to the area and get everything set up. So when you lift up the lid, you're going to find a small box. Inside that small box, you're going to find your fan, your air assist, which is your air pump, your air compressor. Not sure what's in this box. And then this is going to be your exhaust fan. So I'll pop those open so you guys can take a look. So I got everything out of the box. So got our exhaust fan here. Comes with some hoses. They actually have like a little plastic gasket here to help. 2 hose clamps. You have a water pump here with some hose that I'll probably use with my CW3000. Here's our air compressor for the air assist. Give you a nice Ethernet cable for connecting to the machine directly. There's one of our little focus blocks, some Allen keys. Looks like this might be some of our thermal paper for making sure all of our lasers are focused up. And then this is the attachment that goes on the back of the machine that covers the fan and then also provides a point for where you can clamp the hose onto. Alright, so here it is unpacked with the parts taken out of the middle, the top taken off here. You can see that this is engraved with a laser into the glass, which is very nice. I'm going to take the floor out now, put it over on the riser, and that way we can have the riser set up so we can just move this over to its final place and set it down. So I finally just got the bottom plate off. Something that you're going to notice is there are these metal rails that go across horizontally. There's 2 bolts kind of hidden in there. It looks like there's bolts underneath that are close to it, but those are not actually the bolts. So basically all I did here was pick up the machine on its side, tilt it. Come on, focus, there we go. So these 2 bolts are very close to the holes, but those are not actually the ones. But yeah, other than that, you can kind of see a little bit the underside of the machine in here, see the LED lights. So I'm going to set this down and then go move that over to the other side. So one last thing here while I'm switching this over is you notice that the screws, there's actually a shorter screw and a longer screw. The longer screws are going through the rails, and again, those rails are going to go sideways. Across here you can see I've already put all the top screws. I just need one more on the bottom, have that for comparison. So I'm going to put 2 rails across the bottom, and then we should be good to go. So this attachment here, the next thing, goes right over the fan like so. Sort of wiggle it into place, and then that's going to go flush right up against the back. So I'll grab the bolts for that, screw that in, and then this is where your exhaust fan, or excuse me, this is where the exhaust hose is going to mount, and then your exhaust fan you want as close to the window as possible. It's a really simple part here. I've got my air compressor out here, and I'm just going to screw that guy in. I'll get a wrench, tighten that down, and then this is your air fitting. You're going to push that in there. It will clip in place. You won't be able to pull it out anymore. And then you bring it over here and you put that onto the back where it says air inlet right over there. So you'll push it up, it'll go right over it. So this is relatively short, so you're going to need to have this guy somewhat close, and then it's just power outlet right into whatever you're plugging it into for control. So I apologize, but you missed the big lift. So I had the riser set up here, and then basically just line it up with the holes that are underneath. Drop it in. Apologize for the very poor lighting. I'm going to be fixing that soon. But I might have to move this a little bit farther away from the wall. I've got about, I don't know, 8 inches there. And then it's going to come up. I'm going to make a custom window outlet for the vent. Go up there, and then I'm actually probably going to vent my exhaust, or mount my exhaust fan up there from the ceiling. And that way it'll be out of the way. And then I'm planning on putting a control here that I can just hit the on switch. That'll turn on and power my exhaust fan, my air compressor for the start of jobs. You can see I've got a backup power supply there. That is mostly for the insurance of the machine, not necessarily to save a job, because it'll only last probably a half hour, 45 minutes for a job. But that is everything as it sits right here. I'm going to finish getting the last few things set up here and start going through the rest of the setup. So I'm using the iPhone light, so got all the foam out, cut the 2 zip ties up here. Gantry is now free to move. Unfortunately, I discovered that, let's see if we can focus here, there's a small crack at the top of my screen, unfortunately, so I will be contacting FSL and trying to get that replaced. Or actually, it doesn't even look like a crack. It actually looks like the foam piece underneath has come loose. So I might be able to actually just pop this up and push it back into place, which is hopefully a much better fix than trying to get a whole new screen from FSL. Alright, so I've made a good bit of progress here. So I want to update you on something I'm doing. So this rail here that you can see, this actually needs to get removed and slid down on the riser, and that's actually what holds your honeycomb tray. So I should have done this before put it in here, but should have time and space. I also just looked, and unfortunately looks like my red dot diode is out of alignment. So I'm either going to have to align that or the laser. I'll do the alignment check tomorrow, and we will see how that goes, and I will walk you guys through that process as I go through it. So I didn't think I'd be having to do this, unfortunately. So I have to tap the hole, because on this side, you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but there's this bolt goes right in there, and it's the right spacing for this guy. But over here, I'm having to re-tap the hole because it wasn't tapped properly, so gotta fix it. Alright, so hole re-tap. There's one last thing I wanted to show you. It's a little hard to see, but there's actually about, I don't know, 1/4 inch spacers, you might be able to see it better back here, underneath this bracket, lifting it up. So that you need to include those spacers so that the table is level, and that the tray is level, and that the height is appropriate for the laser, so you can actually fit your materials under it and cut the proper height materials. So I apologize a little bit for the jump cut here. This is actually a couple days later. I've got most everything set up. I'm actually running the laser now. Let you guys take a quick look. So what I'm actually making is up there. You can see I just have a tube. I actually laser cut the little acrylic window and caulked it in sort of as waterproof, and a method for venting out, since the previous window just opened up and I would have had to keep the window open. I want to be able to leave the window shut and still vent. So I'm making a little box right now so that I can make that outside portion waterproof, so that way I don't get any water in. But this is pretty much the setup. I'll probably go through how to do an alignment at some point, and then just some basic tutorials on how to go through and get your laser running for the first time. So thanks for watching this little unboxing video. Feel free to leave a comment, ask questions. I'll try to help you guys out. There's not too many videos out on the Muse, so I want to ideally get some more videos out there helping people out, encouraging them to buy this. I looked at this in the Glowforge, and this was kind of a no-brainer in terms of some of the features. So I'll try to go through what some of those big decisions and big reasons were. So thanks for watching. If you like it, feel free to hit a like and subscribe. Thanks.